Ogo, we brought you on to give some positive looks at Milan because me and Nick aren't really the right people to be talking overly positively about the Rossoneri. But if we could talk about Montella for a minute, do you think he is the right man? I saw a lot of talk about him on Twitter afterwards, and a few people were saying that no matter what happens this summer, the important thing is that they keep hold of him. What are your thoughts on that?
I think if there's one uh, veritable, obvious positive about this Milan side, it is the coach. I think Montella is the man for the situation. I think Milan are quite lucky, given their situation right now, that a coach, who's considered a very up and coming coach, who's considered to have a future, in Serie A as a tactical mind that's going to count. For him to take the risk of Milan. After the what happened with Sampdoria, I think it was a big gamble on Montella's part because Milan recently, since sacking Massimo Allegri, have had a very bad habit of burning out coaches. So the fact that every time I look at Milan's positioning and some of the performances, sure they're not very consistent ones, but when I look at some of the performances, some of the style of play, I mean, you have to say that Montella is working minor miracles with the team he has right now.
Yeah, I suppose just to stick with Milan, but to move more towards off the field things, they were finally sold. Silvio Berlusconi is no longer in charge there. We had a piece up on ForzaItalianFootball.com looking at what we should really expect from them going forward now. But as a Milan fan, Ogo, what are you looking for this summer in terms of signings? What are realistic expectations?
That's very difficult because, well, to put it into context, right? My past realistic expectations after Milan's last Scudetto was that within 5 years or so, the team would somewhat get to a reasonable standing. The last title was some ways away, and in those interim years, the club has been in standstill and to so arguably regressed. So for me now to sit and say that, oh well, give it 5 years and we'll be fine, would be, yeah, it just would be a very serious statement for me to make. In terms of, I think what the team certainly needs, before everything, is to have a structure. Um, one thing that Berlusconi did do very well, and this was very lacking in his in his final years, is that the club hierarchy seemed less defined. The roles of people seemed a little bit more. A little more blurry, and I think with the new owners, there needs to be a very set hierarchy with the sporting director, who works as a sporting director, with the coach who does the coaching, and just for every single echelon at the club that does their job, and also for a president to be a president, that is to say, to back his coach and not interfere. What that means is that sometimes it's when we talk about big money acquisitions from new owners, then new players come in. Let's assume new players do come in, players with higher statuses, players with more pulling power. Uh, these players have to come in and accept the project. They cannot just be allowed to come in and given full reign to the club. This was a mistake that PSG made with Ibrahimovic for instance, where he was a very big personality. The president had very close ties with him, and the coach was eclipsed. And I think a new hierarchy's job is to make sure to tell the coach, I am behind you, I am the boss, and I will back you for the decisions you will make. I think that's the biggest thing I'm expecting and I'm waiting for from the following hierarchy.
Well,
From the new hierarchy.
someone that I've seen them linked with is a player who has experience at the club, so he would know what AC Milan are all about. But I want to know how likely you think it is that Pierre Emerick Aubameyang will be signing for Milan this summer.
I don't think that's likely at all, to be perfectly honest. He's been on record many times saying he's quite fond of Spain and that's his preferred move. Now, are the spots going to be available for him to go to play in Spain? That's a different story altogether. Will he come back to Milan? Honestly, is the club even going to be putting up that money for him? I'm not sure. The thing is that whenever new ownership comes in the club, fans, I guess maybe I don't know.
Get carried away.
Yeah, they get carried away and expect people to be dropping €100 million bids, like left, right, and center. And I don't think that Milan fans should have these expectations. Of course, you never know what's going to happen, obviously. But if I had to bet my mortgage on it, I would say no. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang is not coming back to the Sun Siro.